Dear men, you MCU fans need to calm down about Jane Foster's mighty Thor.
Well, they're generalizing, say MCU fans. They're not saying specifically men.
But we know what they mean.
We know what they mean.
We know what they mean.
Because only fans of the MCU have to be men. But go ahead.
Yeah, just wait. We'll get a few paragraphs in. I guarantee you.
It's all men's fault.
It'll all be men's fault because every one of these articles anymore goes this way. So we're going to talk about. Well, again, Comic-Con. Comic-Con, a lot of the reveals at Comic-Con and the Jane Foster Thor thing, as well as women creators and fans rising up against misogyny, the movie.
We covered that one already.
We did, but now they did
a video of it.
Now they did a video of it.
Okay, I have words. Okay, let's go.
Geeky's always got words. So we're going to talk about this and this trend of just blaming like these boogeyman.
Another man writing an article again.
Another man. It's always men writing articles about men.
No, it's women too writing about men.
Everybody's writing about men.
It's always men's fault.
It's always men's fault. So please subscribe to Clownfish TV for more pop culture news, views, and rant. Thanks so much to those of you who have subscribed in the last month or two. The channel's been blowing up. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Sub for Geeky.
Yep, sub for Neon. Why do you always say sub for Geeky? I hate that.
Because they like you more than they like me.
That's not true.
Is it true, guys? I think it's true.
It's not true.
Okay, because I'm a man. I'm a man.
No, it's because
I know my place.
It's because I rant.
It's because you rant.
But buckle up, because it's coming.
Okay, so we're going to read this article because this is like you men need to just calm down. Calm down, boys. Calm down. Thor: Love and Thunder immediately became one of the most talked about superhero films following its announcement, thanks in part to the announcement of Natalie Portman as Jane Foster's mighty Thor. So they're talking about the 2014, relatively short-lived, I think,
yeah, because it didn't do well.
Thor storyline. And I think she's Valkyrie. This choice angered a lot of people at the time, and the announcement regarding the movie seems to be doing the same. However, those still angry about Jane Foster becoming Thor need to calm down.
I just think Natalie Portman's really not good in the Thor movies, and that's more my problem with it.
She's really blah.
It seems like I'll come back as long as you make me Thor. It's kind of like what it is.
Jane Foster becoming Thor, not Lady Thor or female Thor, just Thor.
No.
Thank you.
Lady Thor. I'm a woman. Dude, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Coincided with several other iconic characters being replaced. Carol Danvers took the mantle of Captain Marvel.
But that's been a long time now
from a black woman.
Nuh-uh. They're saying the mantle of Captain Marvel from Marvel. Isn't that what they're talking about?
Well, technically, yeah, but there was a Captain Marvel in. Why did they keep ignoring Monica Rambeau? Why did they keep it?
Because that blows their narrative, and that's what I'm going to be talking about here in a minute.
Because it actually was a step, quote unquote, backwards to have Carol Danvers become Captain Marvel after you had Monica Rambeau, a person of color, a woman of color, being Captain Marvel as long as she was. And she was actually the first female Captain Marvel.
And then the media had to shit that because of Alita. But Alita was played with an actual diverse woman as opposed to a white woman. But whatever, because don't you know that Hollywood just invented, and comics only invented diversity in the last couple years. Yeah, don't you know, before that, no one ever heard of diversity.
2014 is when diversity was invented. Miles Morales became the Ultimate Spider-Man. Very few people actually complained about that. Kamala Khan became Ms. Marvel. Yeah, because Carol Danvers was Ms. Marvel, and then she took the Captain Marvel name from Monica Rambeau and became Captain Marvel. Sam Wilson became Captain America, and I think they reversed that, or is he still Captain America? And Riri Williams became Ironheart. An Iron Man-like character that proved just as controversial as Foster's Thor. More so, because at least Jane Foster had been in the comics for decades. Riri Williams, they basically just invented her and handed her the keys
to push this whole, we invented a diversity.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what people have a problem with. Like, there was no pre-established connection there.
You know, I'm all for making new characters, though. Not making them, Iron Man. But, I'm all for new characters.
This was all part of Marvel's plan to add diversity to its roster of heroes, which in turn was a response to developing social movement.
Or requesting. No, developing social movement, demanding. And if you don't do it, or if you don't love everything they do, even if it's garbage, you're somehow some kind of misogynist, racist, hate monger, whatever, Nazi, because you didn't like the changes they made for no good reason other than that that a small group of people said they need to be more diverse because we say so.
Let me rewrite this for you, CBR. It was in response to a bunch of loud people, or a relatively small group of loud people on Twitter and Tumblr demanding more representation of different people in genre media. And then
because they're ignoring all the representation that came before, because they invented it.
And then when you put those replacements out there, they landed with a thud for the most part. Yeah. So if Jane Foster's Thor, who is Odin's son, all fairness, not all fan complaints about these new versions of old characters were bad ones. At least they'll give them that. The biggest argument was that Marvel, in order to appeal to the outspoken, diverse fandom, was taking away rather than adding to Marvel's history. I actually would agree. With that. I think they should be creating new characters and not giving, these new characters a hand-me-down
right, that's what
personas.
They're doing.
You know, the problem with this fear is that Thor Odin's son was still around while Jane Foster's Thor did her superheroics. The story of Foster's Thor is twofold. Blah 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 blah. Jane Foster at this point had terminal cancer. Yes, we know about that. We'll talk about that. This wasn't the first time Thor was replaced. No, it's happened before. He was a frog. Yeah, they had Frog Thor. They had Beta Ray Bill. There were several other Thors, but it was just like, here's another core Avenger being replaced along with everybody else.
And by their own admission, because they're trying to make it diverse because the social media says so. That's basically what they said. At least they admit it.
Yeah, now here, what if number 10, published in 1977, Jane Foster becomes Thor and becomes Thordess. So that was before Beta Ray Bill. So yeah, they actually talked about that. They talked about the story working. Actually, some people said the story wasn't bad, but again, Natalie Portman.
My problem's Natalie Portman
is not capable.
And the way they left Thor at the end of the last movie. Body positive Thor.
Right. Okay.
And then Natalie Portman's crappy acting. That's my issues with it.
So let's talk about that.
Love and Thunder is just stupid.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because here's the problem. Yeah, they emasculated Thor. They turned him into a fat schlub, right? And so on top of that insult, they're gonna take his mantle away too, and they're gonna give it to Natalie Portman, who was the weakest link in the Thor movies. I mean, she's pretty much, save for a couple of movies I've seen her in, she is usually the weakest link. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be honest. Not a huge Natalie Portman fan. I think she's serviceable, but not,
I'm sorry, I'm just reading this. Jane Foster's Thor is a resounding success. On what scale?
Not really. They brought a regular
Sorry, I was distracted by that on what's sexism question mark. Oh, written by a man to prove how
Captain Marvel. We have to
feminist he is.
We have to bring Captain Marvel into everything. A lot of people angry about Jane Foster's Thor might not have read the comics. They heard someone else reacting to the first issue, got angry, and made sweeping generalizations afterwards. This is, of course, assuming they even did that and didn't just get angry about the concept. Just as there was a developing movement for diversity in genre fiction, there is an opposing smaller movement opposing diversity in genre fiction throughout the alt-right web. Oh, for God's sake, give it a rest.
People saying,
give it a rest.
Stop changing characters for no reason whatsoever other than to hit up check boxes for diversity. And, making shitty books is not a smaller alt-right movement. I'm all for diversity. I just think make the diversity its own. I mean, give them their own thing. Stop repurposing other characters. It's actually kind of insulting. It's really insulting where you don't think they can carry a book on their own, so you're just going to repurpose other characters. That's an insult. Oh
God! Comic book resources. Why the hell are we doing this again?
Oh, I can answer this.
This is all this is the same. Always. Again, this is like I said. With the article we covered on the Mary Sue regarding Dora the Explorer, they always start out rational, and then as you read the article, they get more and more ridiculous. They begin to reach more. They start jumping to more conclusions. So, of course, we have to use the Carol defense. We have to bust out Carol and talk about the alt-right.
Captain Marvel film is a clear example of his action. A vocal minority of fans hated the movie before it came out. You know what? It's not about her being a woman. Why people were pissed was because Brie Larson acted like an asshat before the movie came out. It's kind of like the Terminator movies. You guys are going on about the Terminator movies. No, people have no problem with Terminator having women in it. They always have had strong female characters in it. The problem is before the movie comes out, you're like, if you're a misogynist, you'll hate this movie. You're already starting a label. You're already laying people. Basically, you're saying is, if you think the movie sucks, there's something wrong with you. It can't be our fault that the movie's bad. No. Only a small amount of people didn't like the movie. It was an okay film. It was not great. It was not the worst one. It wasn't the best one. But right from the get-go, they started making it a sexism thing even when it wasn't. Brie Larson said some things. Now, to be fair, a lot of things she said were months before the movie came out, and people brought it up now and made it act like it was a recent thing when it wasn't. But they really are pushing for this whole, if you don't like it, there's something wrong with you. And it's like, meanwhile, they're going out bashing a lead who actually had a person of color as the lead. And then they're somehow making that outright to elevate Brie Larson, the whitest, blondest stick up the ass I've ever seen. I mean, the woman can't act right up her back. And she's very arrogant in interviews.
Meanwhile, Carol Danvers took the mantle of Captain Marvel from a black woman. I just want to put that out there. Right. And back in the 1980s, nobody had a problem with Captain Marvel being a black woman. That. Well, I'm just saying.
Our point is, in the Variety article, you can go to that real quick too, is this whole idea that they're making out there's all this toxic things. Are there toxic people? I'm sure there are. Do I think it's as big a problem as they're making out to be? No. I do not think it's as big a problem that they're making out to be. What they're doing is places like Variety, CBR, the Mary Sue, all of these people desperately want clicks, desperately need to get paid. So they're just stirring up shit to stir it up and then screaming the same pointless things no matter how many times you refute it and prove they're full of crap. They keep going back to the same shitwell to keep throwing it around and saying it's all misogyny, it's all hatred, it's all bigotry. No, it's not. The fandoms, the problems of the fandoms aren't the fans. The problems of the fandoms are these piece of shit media people who keep making up shit that isn't even real.
That is true.
I mean, like the whole She-Ra thing. Why are you mad about She-Ra? Well, maybe because you went right out from the beginning and the media started calling people who liked the original She-Ra names. They kept making it out that if you didn't like the new design, it was because there was something wrong with you. You were a pervert, or you were, some stick-up-the-ass person who can't accept change, or there's always something wrong with you. It's never their fault. It's never their fault. They got a bunch of people pissed before the show even came out, and then people didn't watch the show because they were mad. And then it's all because the haters are haters. It's because of you, Variety. It's because of you, Comic Book Resources. It's because of you, Mary Sue. That's the problem, not the fandoms.
They're trying to use psychology to manipulate audiences into accepting or going to these movies or whatever and embracing these changes. And it's failing because what you're doing is, you're antagonizing people and you're getting their backs up, and then you can't blame them for a movie's failure, when they don't go see it because you told them you don't want them to go see it. You told them not to go see it.
And they always want to blame people the alt-right. Well, how come it fails? If it even blows up worldwide and doesn't do well worldwide, how is it the whole world is alt-right?
I don't even think I've ever seen a skinhead in the wild.
No,
I don't think I have. I'm sitting here thinking, I've lived all over the place, and I'm like, have I ever actually seen a congregation of people? A
true Nazi alt-right person?
No, I don't think so.
It's like the word racism and Nazi means nothing anymore because everybody just throws it around willy-nilly. You've completely erased the meaning of these words. And it's like, I'm sorry, but there are people in the fandoms that you could be considered toxic. Yes. But are they the majority? No! It's a small percentage of people in the fandom that get that bent out of shape because of someone being a woman. Most people are mad because you're flat out telling people they will like this show. They will like this movie. If you don't like it, there's something wrong with you. If you don't like our new shit show of She-Ra, it's because you're a misogynist. It's because you're toxic. It's because you're whatever, racist, transphobe, LGBTQ, whatever. You're somehow a jerk, something. No, maybe your show just wasn't good. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of hearing this. And Terminator, they're already preemptively telling people, if you don't like it, you're clearly a misogynist. You're preemptively telling people there's something wrong with them if they don't like your movie. And then you're going on about how it's everybody else. No, Comic Book Resources, it's you. Variety, it's you. Mary Sue, it's you causing the problems because you're trying to get hits.
That's exactly what's going on here, and they attack. I mean, this is basically they thrive on ad revenue from angry people, hate clicks. That's how these because these blogs are completely irrelevant now.
Yeah, because if you don't like it, there's something wrong with you. Well, you know what? If you like these articles, there's something wrong with you, I guess. We can reverse the same crap on that. I'm just clearly, they start this stuff before a movie or show comes out, and then it does bad because you turn everybody off before it comes out, and then you're telling people that they're bad people. I don't want to be a bad person. I don't want to be called names. I really didn't like it, but I'll say I like it because if I don't, I'm a bad person.
It doesn't work anymore. It worked for a couple of years. People felt sort of guilted into going along with changes because, gosh, I don't want to be a bad person. Nobody wants to be. Very few people want to be a bad person.
Right.
Right.
And telling them they're a bad person for not liking She-Ra or Terminator that's bullshit. Who's the bad person here? You're allowed to like it, you're allowed not to like it. And if you don't like Star Wars, that doesn't make you a misogynist, woman hater. I'm like, I didn't like it, and I'm a woman.
So, thank you, Comic Book Resources, Mary Sue, Variety, all of these, Polygon, all of these other news outlets for...
News and quotes.
Preemptively stoking the fire.
To ruin these shows and movies.
So there is already going to be a contingency of people who are going to be pissed off because you keep poking the bear for clicks on your websites. By the time these movies drop, it's going to be polarizing, just like Captain Marvel, just like Ghostbusters 2016. Like you have done so much damage and disservice to the people working on these movies because you constantly stir the shit until the day the movie comes out, and then when it comes out, you stir the shit
and blame everybody again.
And you blame everybody for weeks after, and then if it fails, you blame people. If it succeeds, you mock those people, and then months after the fact, when the DVD comes out, you start the same shit all over again.
You want to know the true toxicity in the fandoms? It's sites like this. They're the true toxicity. They're causing, there's maybe a little crack on the very edge, and they're trying to hammer that thing with a wedge to make it as big as possible, and then say, oh, there's all these haters and people, go read our articles about the haters. No, the toxicity. If I were these studios and that for doing these TV shows and films, I'd be after you people, because you people are causing 90% of the problem.
I would agree with that, because back in the day, like, look, and again, we talked about how there were, progressive themes in TV and movies, even in the 80s, 90s, but we didn't have the internet. We had, magazines, we had, news art, whatever. People had to wait until the movie came out to make their own judgment about it. But now these news blogs that become more and more clickbait farms are causing problems. They're causing problems.
They're causing the issue. This title, CBR should calm down about, the MCU. CBR should calm down about She-Ra. CBR should calm down about, the Terminator. Variety should calm down about the same things. Those should be the headlines. There's a lot of toxicity out there in Variety articles. You guys are the poison, and then you're yelling at everybody else. It's unbelievable. I just can't wrap my head around why these studios and stuff keep giving you guys money and access when you guys are causing the problems.
I think it'll end eventually. I
hope so. They need themselves cut off.
Yeah, there are a lot of these blogs are going out of business now, and I think it's going to end. I think at some point in time, I think a lot of these studios are going to realize that these, Access Media has actually done more damage to their brand than the quote unquote haters. It's like they stir the haters up. So they have that defense.
They create haters.
They create haters.
They create haters that hate what these people are saying, and then they inadvertently they hate everything else around. Like okay, for example, people might have been okay with the new She-Ra and been like, okay, I'll give it a chance, whatever. And then because all these news sites told them there's something wrong with them if they didn't like the design 100%. If you don't like this, there's something wrong with you. You're a hater. And I got told I was a bad mom because I didn't like She-Ra designs.
Yeah. I mean, okay, case in point, yeah, She-Ra's a great example. If they had just dropped She-Ra on Netflix and not said jack shit about it and not had these articles...
Or just promoted the new one without dismissing the original.
Right. I think it would have been a totally different reaction. But again, it's the, Access Media causing drama where there need not be drama, for clicks and high fives from their Twitter friends or whatever the hell they're doing. And then they cry about it when they get called out.
Yeah.
They call everybody, they call the fandoms out, they call people out, and then when they get called out, they cry about it.
Right. They do. They have a fit about it. And it's like, what makes me mad is they get this whole idea that's all men's fault all the time. Like, it's only men who hate this and men who hate that. And if you don't like Terminator, you're a misogynist. I'm a woman. I don't like the new She-Ra. I'm sorry. Besides the fact that I think the character designs are stupid. I do like Catcher and Trapta some. I don't like the characters. I think they're dumbed down. I think they're ridiculous. And considering how the backstory of She-Ra is, they make no sense. They just don't. I hate it. I'm a woman. I don't have internalized misogyny. If you know, the whole thing is that anybody other than white people can't be racist, then women can't be misogynists, okay? So I'm not a misogynist. I'm tired of shit. I didn't like the Star Wars movies. I thought Rey was Super Mary Sue, and I didn't like her. I thought The Last Jedi was a joke because it set up good characters, and then they ruined them to elevate female characters that came out of nowhere. I hated it. I'm a woman. What's your excuse for that? Let me guess, internalized misogyny, because that's all you ever come back with. Because as soon as somebody proves you wrong, you call them names because you cannot break your narrative. Because then what? It can't be wrong. Couldn't possibly be me. Couldn't possibly be me that's wrong. It's all you. You're all problems.
Call them names, block them on Twitter, cry when other people call you out on it. Like I mean, these people are like, they're such cowards. They're cowards.
All these weird articles about misogyny are written by men.
I'm
offended. Well, no, these ones we're talking about.
Matt Donnelly wrote this one.
Hey, you know what? It was a man.
Anthony Gramuglia.
You know what? I'm a woman. Stop writing about my female problems and what I think is a woman, and you're a man. I mean, you want to play this game? We can play this game all day long. Because normally I don't care if a guy writes a story, a girl writes a story. I don't give a shit. But if you're going to play this whole, you know, men are the problem, men are the problem, men are the problem. Hey, dudes, I'm a woman. You're trying to tell me the problem is written by an article by you, the man who doesn't understand what a woman wants or is. Because you're not a woman. So if you want to play this game, I can play this game all damn night. I'm pissed. I'm like, stop, you know, one breath saying it's all men's fault and these misogynists, and then calling me, saying I have internalized misogyny when I'm actually a woman. What is this, boob envy? I mean, this, you know, I'm sure some of you have boobs anyway. Mine work.
You're okay. Are we gonna wrap this up?
I'm hot, yes.
You are hot.
No, we can't run the air conditioner.
I find you very, very hot when you rant like this. And her boobs do work, by the way. So we're gonna wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants here on Clownfish TV. This has been Neon and Geeky.
Bye.
Goodbye. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.